It happened without a warning. A silent, invisible wave washing over the planet. I was trekking through the Scottish Highlands, the wind biting at my cheeks, a good, honest cold. My satellite phone, my lifeline to the outside world, was in my hand. One moment, I was checking my coordinates. The next, the screen just died. Not a flicker. Not a low battery warning. It was as if the life had been instantly sucked out of it. But as dusk settled, a strange quiet fell. No distant hum of a plane overhead, no faint glow from the village in the valley below. The world had gone dark. A pilot over the Pacific watching his navigation screens go black, the engines of his massive jet sputtering into an unnerving silence. A surgeon in a brightly lit operating theater, plunged into absolute darkness mid-procedure, her advanced life support machines falling dead. A family gathered around a television, the screen zapping to black, their home's lights extinguishing in unison. So what was this invisible monster? What could kill every machine on the planet in an instant? The culprit is our very own sun. It's the source of all life on Earth, a giant, beautiful ball of fire. But it can also be incredibly violent. A solar flare is an intense burst of radiation coming from the sun's surface. Most of them are small and miss us completely, or our planet's magnetic shield, the magnetosphere, deflects them. We see their gentle calling card as the beautiful northern and southern lights. A solar superflare, however, is a different beast altogether. It's the once-in-a-millennium event. It's a solar eruption on a scale that is hard to comprehend, thousands of times more powerful than a typical flare. When one of these monsters erupts and is aimed directly at Earth, it unleashes a colossal wave of energy called a coronal mass ejection, or CME. This tidal wave of charged particles travels through space at millions of miles per hour. In the first hours after the Great Silence, the world would have held its breath. The lack of information would be the most terrifying thing. Without phones, internet, or television, rumors would spread like wildfire, carried by word of mouth. Is it a terrorist attack? An act of war? People would have gathered in the streets looking for answers, their faces lit by the flickering flames of makeshift torches or candles. The familiar sounds of the city, the sirens, the traffic, the constant hum, would be gone, replaced by a growing murmur of human voices, laced with anxiety and fear. As the sun rose on the first day, the scale of the problem would become brutally clear. Nothing worked. Taps would run dry as electric water pumps failed. Toilets wouldn't flush. The food in refrigerators and freezers would begin to spoil. Cars, trains, and planes would be nothing more than metal statues. Roads would be clogged with dead vehicles, making movement impossible. When everything fails, you have to go back to basics. Survival is about staying alive, one day at a time. The first rule is always the same: find a source of clean water. In the wild, I look for streams and purify the water by boiling it. In a city, this would be the #1 challenge. Rainwater collection would become essential. People would have to find ways to filter water from rivers or lakes using layers of cloth, sand, and charcoal. Fire would become the center of every community again, for heat, for cooking, and for light. Learning how to start a fire without a lighter or matches is a critical skill. A simple flint and steel, or even the friction method with a bow drill, would be worth more than gold. Weeks after the Superflare, the world's great cities would be transformed. The constant noise would be gone, replaced by an eerie, profound silence. The only sounds would be the wind whistling between silent skyscrapers, the barking of stray dogs, and the distant murmur of human voices. The high-rise apartment buildings, marvels of modern engineering, would become concrete prisons. Who could live on the 40th floor without an elevator? A great migration would begin, a slow, arduous exodus from the dead cities. People would travel on foot, by bicycle, or on horseback if they were lucky, pushing carts loaded with their few possessions. In the post-flare world, nowhere would the loss of technology be felt more acutely than in our hospitals. Modern medicine is a miracle, but it's a miracle built on a foundation of electricity. Ventilators keeping patients breathing, dialysis machines cleaning their blood, incubators protecting premature babies, all would fall silent. Surgeries would become brutally risky procedures, performed by candlelight or daylight, with the constant threat of sepsis looming over both patient and surgeon. They would rediscover old techniques, turning to herbal remedies that had been dismissed for generations. Knowledge of medicinal plants would be vital. As the years passed, humanity would settle into a new rhythm. The world would be quieter, smaller, and more physically demanding. The global economy would be a distant memory, replaced by local systems of barter and trade. A well-made tool, a bag of seeds, a strong pair of boots. These would be the items of real value. Knowledge would become the most precious commodity, and the most fragile. Libraries would become sacred places, fortresses of knowledge to be protected at all costs. Storytellers would become vital, passing on history, legends, and essential survival information from one generation to the next, just as our ancestors did for thousands of years. After a generation or two, once society had stabilized into this new low-tech existence, the thoughts of the brightest minds would turn to rebuilding. Communities would build small-scale, sustainable energy sources, water wheels turning generators on rivers, windmills on hillsides. In the end, when you strip everything else away, what are you left with? You are left with us, human beings. We are the most adaptable, resourceful, and resilient creatures on this planet. We have survived ice ages, plagues, and cataclysms. The power that would get us through a disaster like a solar superflare is not in our machines, but in our hearts. It's the courage of a doctor working by candlelight. It's the kindness of a neighbor sharing their last can of food. The human spirit is a fire that can burn in the darkest of nights. It has guided us through every storm in our past, and it is the one tool that will guarantee our survival. Never, ever give up.